You've always had a mind full of questions. How can I ignite this idea into something real? How do I build the confidence to achieve my ambitions and explore the world around me? Curiosity is the engine of achievement, and at UL, you'll find a community for the curious, where purpose meets passion. Whether you're growing an idea from spark to market, transforming your future, or asking the hard questions of the world, together we will stay passionately.
Hi, welcome everybody. We're delighted to have you on the call today, and it's great to see so many familiar names and some new faces eager to find out more about what we do here in UL. Just a bit of housekeeping before we get started. This event will be recorded and circulated to you after the presentation. And if you would like to ask a question, please feel free to add it into the chat box. We may be able to answer questions throughout, but we will also have a Q&A session at the end.
Be curious.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Helen Brown and I work in professional education here in UL, working primarily with human resources and training managers and staff to increase talent and skills both regionally and nationally. I'd like to introduce my colleagues here today who will be presenting. Yvonne Delaney will be joining us as Director of the Management Development Unit, a key part of the triple accredited Kemmy Business School. We also have Michael Hennessy, who is Head of Flexible Learning Centre here at the Faculty of Science and Engineering, one of the first centres in UL to offer flexible programmes to professionals. Sinead Burke is the project manager from UL at Work and will be taking us through some new professional diplomas focusing specifically on digital transformation. We also have Niamh Mahoney and Noel O'Brien looking after the technical side of things and making us look very polished for this event. But first, a little bit of background on UL and professional education itself. Professional students often worry what it's like to return to education. If you decide to study at UL, whether it's in person or online, it means you immediately become part of our community. We have over 17,000 students, and 1,700 faculty and staff. We also have a diverse student body with students from over 80 countries studying with us. In 2021, we were the only university in Ireland with a 5-star ranking. And you may have heard recently that the Kemmy Business School has been recognised as the top 1% of business schools worldwide. We're the first in Ireland also to have a level 10 executive apprenticeship at doctorate level, which is a huge achievement. We also have the most digitally advanced library in the world, and we're officially recognised as one of the best sporting campuses in Ireland, being home to the Munster Rugby High Performance Centre. And we also have the highest climbing wall in Ireland, if that's what you're into. So why should we be thinking about upskilling? By 2030, 100 million workers, or 1 in 16, will need to switch occupational categories due to advances in e-commerce and automation, and this is 20% higher than pre-pandemic. By the time we reach 2025, more than 1 billion people around the world will have attained a postgraduate qualification in their lifetime. We find here in UL that students are looking more and more to short programs to upskill. We have seen an increase of 175% in students accessing short courses. These short and flexible courses resolve workplace challenges and are a novel way to accredit working professionals with the knowledge and skills they need to thrive in a never evolving digital age. By 2030 as well, 2/3 of all roles will be soft skills intensive. So here in UL, we work very closely with industry and government to develop skills in a competitive economy. We include industry in-demand skills that design all of our programs to make sure that graduates can put their skills to use immediately and are immediately employable. Matching industry academic excellence with industry excellence is key to the design of our programs. We design our programs in collaboration with industry experts, ensuring that the needs of the organisation are always met. We also work very closely with government to make it financially viable for people to upskill through various funding initiatives. We find that flexibility, access and affordability are key drivers in delivering the supply of skills. So if you want, when you're looking at your learning journey, we have many pathways available to professional students that you can tailor your journey for your career needs. Students can progress along the traditional route for certificate up to a master's or a doctorate level. Or alternatively, you can progress using the executive apprenticeship model that is available at the moment in UL in certain subject areas. You may be returning to education to gain your master's qualification. And again, we have many pathways to achieve this, either through a designated master's programme or by merging some professional diplomas that we have on offer. You can do this by merging 2 professional diplomas with a thesis, or by merging 3 professional diplomas together to gain your qualification. Now, if committing to this type of programme is too much for you, there are microcreds available, and these are short accredited courses in a wide range of subject areas. These programs allow learners to upskill in a short period of time and build your credits towards a higher award. So really, in short, we have something for every type of student, and you will hear a lot about these options from our speakers. So moving on, choosing the correct course can be a confusing job, but we have dedicated staff that will guide you in the correct direction to help you and your company achieve what they want to achieve, and make sure that it's in the most cost-effective manner for yourself and your company. All of us on the call today are actually adult learners, so we understand the need of professional students, and we have many supports in place to ensure your success. We acknowledge previous accredited and non-accredited qualifications as part of our recognition of prior learning policy. So before you start your programme, we have a comprehensive onboarding and orientation programme, and have many supports available as you progress along your programme, such as academic writing and study skills advice. We also have an extensive range of social amenities available to professional students. So if underwater hockey or the ultimate frisbee, it takes your fancy, we have you covered here in UL. So at this point, I'd like to bring Yvonne, my colleague, who is Director of the Management Development Unit, in to outline how the MDU is instrumental in upskilling the professional workforce.
Thank you, Helen, and thank you for that comprehensive introduction. Helen, I'm not so sure that I'll go for the underwater hockey, but I'm on my way over to this climbing wall because I'm sure it'll be a great challenge for me. So hello, on a more serious note, good afternoon. My name is Yvonne Delaney. I head up the Management Development Unit at the Kemmy Business School. And as Helen explained there, the Kemmy Business School actually is a triple accredited school in terms of being in the top 1% of business schools worldwide. Now, what I'm going to do in my next slide here is to show you in terms of understanding the national framework of qualifications, because I totally understand it can actually be very, very confusing for you. But when we look at the national understanding there, the national framework, we look at once you've finished your Leaving Cert, we have level 6. And we can offer you, and you may be working full time as well, we can offer you a certificate in management. Then after that, we could offer you a diploma in management, level 7, or a higher certificate level 7. Correspondingly, we could offer you a degree at level 8 or a higher diploma at level 8. Then right on to a master's or postgraduate diplomas, and finally onto a PhD. But the most important thing that we have to offer you here is not so much that you start all these programs, but we can help you with scaffolding, structures to ensure that you actually finish these programs. We will never advise you to take on a program if we think for one moment that program might be just too challenging for you. We will guide you to the correct level program. We will show you the scaffolding. We will help you to start and finish so that you can progress through all these pathways. Now, you may come in at a level 7 or you may come in at a level 8. It doesn't matter, but we will match you through the supports that we have built up over the last number of years to ensure that you actually start and finish the program. Also, down at the very end there, we have micro-credentials. So take, for example, you really feel, I don't want to bite off too big a program. I want to dip my toe in the water. I want to try and see, well, will a certificate suit me? You may be able to take one single module from the certificate, or you may be able to take one particular module from the degree right through up as far as the level 9. You start a module and you finish it, but the most important thing is that module can be cashed in for credits in a full program a number of months or a year or two afterwards, just to help you get started. Also, Helen referred to there as an induction program. For each of these programs, whether it's cert, degree, diploma, masters, we have a very, very strong induction program in place. We have a whole series of scaffolding. When you use our system, which will be called Moodle, it's the online learning platform, there is a program information page that is comprehensive in terms of all the supports that you might need. Then, if you can't find the information on the program information page, we have tried and trusted processes with our lecturers or with our program administrators. Each of these programs have individual administrators responsible for them. And if you can't find what you're looking for, you will have somebody at the end of an email or at the end of a phone call that will be able to help you get started on your journey with the University of Limerick. Now, in the next slide, I just want to tell you just a little bit about the Management Development Unit. Now, I am boasting here when I say we are a triple accredited academy, or a triple accredited Kemmy Business School area. So from that point of view, we actually are in the top 1% of business schools worldwide. The Management Development Unit has been in operation for the last 25 years. We don't just hire academics. We have an extensive group of tutors drawn from industry with a wide range of experience, both from an academic perspective, but more importantly, from a commercial business perspective. That this team is in the region of 20 academics and lecturers, and they have extensive commercial experience to help you match your industry experience with the theory. The most important thing is we do not want you to leave your commercial experience behind you. We want you to bring it in to the classroom, but in these days, bring it into the online chat rooms or the online tutorials that we are running in relation to some of our programs. Also, just moving on to the last program there, the areas that we have to cover. Supply chain, which is an interfaculty program, and Michael, my colleague, Michael Hennessy, head of the Flexible Learning Unit, will cover this later on. We have management programs, which cover certs, diplomas and degrees. We have the area of public procurement, which help with purchasing to give you the skills necessary to actually source material, buy it and bring it into your company. We also have programs in global trade compliance. These areas in global trade compliance really in the era of Brexit, in the era of COVID, in the era of, general importation, export of products, and also in transportation of products, we really need you to be experts in this area. We also look after the health sector. We have a diploma in health sector management that might be suitable for anyone working in the health sector areas. And last but not least, we do have our aviation. This is an industry that has been very badly hit over the COVID environment area, or COVID environment scenario we have experienced over the last 2 years. So therefore, we have a professional diploma in aviation leasing and finance that may be of interest to you. And again, they spread over certs, diplomas, degrees, and professional masters. Then in the next slide, we're just going to cover our drop-in sessions. There's a list of dates going from the 5th of May right through to the 2nd of June. Please come and drop in to these online virtual sessions, and we will be able to answer any questions you like in terms of like management programs, micro-credentials, public procurement, supply chain, or professional diplomas. We are there, we will be able to answer any questions, and they're done at a very suitable time that help you through your busy day. So last now, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Michael Hennessy, who heads up the Flexible Learning Unit. Thank you, Michael.
Yvonne, thanks very much. Okay, I'm delighted to be here as well, and I think Yvonne and Helen have given an excellent overview of what an experience is like to come and become a student here at the University of Limerick. Professional education is all about your employability, your career progression, improving your job prospects, and all of our courses work towards that. And you know, like many organizations, we're divided up into bundles: science and engineering, education and health, business, but hopefully you'll see from today that we work and collaborate together to create programs that are suitable for yourselves. And in particular, science and engineering work very closely with business on supply chain management. We have one of the best supply chain management programs in Ireland, if not the best, because not only does it cover the business side of supply chain, but it also covers the more technical operations side, like simulation and modeling and understanding, you know, how a ship stuck in the Suez Canal is going to impact on your receipt of goods or the shipment of goods, or a flu, a war, many things which theoretically we discussed previously, and now we get live action case studies. And there's also volcanoes in Iceland, which have impacted on supply chain greatly. So, you know, it's professional education for people in industry in order to, as Yvonne said, bring your experience into the classroom and have the theory help you to understand what's happening, because you're living it. Either it's quality or regulations or computing, software, aviation, health and safety, all those type of things that you're doing on your day-to-day basis in your workplace, you're living it. And we're going to help you to understand it and probably try and predict it somewhat to make your job easier and to give you a leg up and an advantage in terms of developing your career. And the entire university, as we had outlined there in the National Framework for Qualifications, offers certificates, diplomas, degrees, professional diplomas and masters and doctorates to allow you to build up qualifications. And as Yvonne was saying about the micro-credentials, you know, there's an opportunity to take a chance on a module or something that you're interested and see how it fits your life. Okay, and we do the same with our certificates and diplomas built into degrees, our professional diplomas, our postgraduate qualifications, and they build into masters. So you don't ever have to commit to a full, you know, 3 or 2 year program, you can commit to a 1 year or a 1 semester element of a program in order to get your feel for it. So that's the list of programs that we have, key areas. So the next thing, as part of the innovation that is core to what's happening at the University of Limerick, and I put this in not to sell you an apprenticeship program, but to let you know that we're looking at transforming education. We're looking at working with industry to develop skills for people in the economy. And very often you hear about developing skills, and it's all about, oh, there's a shortage of workers and companies can't hire people. But also developing skills means that when things change, as Helen pointed out, things are changing. People have a transferable set of skills. They have employability as opposed to employment, so that you are employable. And we want to deliver education in a way that allows you to keep your employability as you develop your knowledge. And part of that was the transformation of the apprenticeship program nationally in 2016. Previously, they were all level 6 for people who had come out of school to develop a qualification, and it stopped there. There was no advancement. While others went to university and got degrees, people who did initial apprenticeships found it very hard because they're now working and as professional learners want to develop their skills. So what the university looked at was, in collaboration with industry, were the key areas that we had strengths in, that we could develop an apprenticeship type program for people in work to develop master's level skills in supply chain manager role, or an equipment systems engineer for automating processes, or a supply chain manager for managing all of those headaches for globalized markets and increasing exports. And in order to develop pathways around those, because of our expertise in supply chain management, we have an undergraduate and a fresh out of school entry point at the supply chain associate, but also we're looking at topping up and developing skills. And part of all of that is looking at immediate skills demands, and cybersecurity has become a huge issue with the hacks and the threats from mostly Russia now and China on data systems, and how dependent we are now on data systems for communication and for storing information. That cybersecurity is a key area, and the aim of the cybersecurity practitioner apprenticeship is to take people who have a software background and develop their skills. And all of this is while you are working. All of our programs are while you are working. We're developing skills for your career development. Okay, and just in summary then, you know, the Flexible Learning Centre at Science and Engineering, you know, we have over 30 programs. We have been doing professional development for nearly 30 years with our original Diploma in Quality Management by night, a long last century, even long time ago. And the key focus from what I want you to take away from this is that there is a program out there that will suit you. There's a mode out there that will suit you of delivery: online, classroom, evening, flexible, so that there's a whole range of potential, you know. And from our program, we have 105 modules that are possibly available as micro credentials, so that you can see if a program suits you, as Yvonne was saying. So in terms of finding out more, I think we're going to be holding a series of 5 lunchtime webinars. Our first one kicks off. We're going to talk about apprenticeships and what might be suitable for you. I think the last one is quite interesting, is about choosing the course that's right for you. And that's something that we all do in professional education. As Yvonne said and Helen said, we want to support you. The idea is not that you start a program. The idea is that you finish a program that is suitable for you, that we will talk to you about doing a course, what your career aspirations are. And if it turns out that we suggest that you cross the river and go to Galway, or you go to Toos in Moyleash, then we'll happily do that, because at the end of the day, you know, everybody who gets upskilled improves the region and improves Ireland. And this is part of, we have the luxury of being a university to say that we can do that. You know, we're part of a national program of upskilling. So there's plenty of support, plenty of information. See if there's anything there that's of interest to you, and do join us in May for the drop-in sessions. As I speak of industry and the transforming workplace, I'm going to pass you over now to Sinead Burke, who is the project manager for the UL at Work programs on digital transformation, our future.
Hi, thank you so much, Michael. As Michael said, my name is Dr. Sinead Burke. I'm the program manager of a project called UL at Work. And UL at Work is an investment from the Irish government through the National Training Fund to create new programs for professional learners in the area of digital transformation. So digital transformation aren't just skills for STEM graduates or ICT. It could be argued that we all work in technology companies. So we are in UL working in a technology company that just happens to do education. So regardless of your background, there will be a digital transformation program for you. All of our programs are designed, co-designed with industry, and are in areas of demand with industry. So these are areas where companies want to promote within their own organizations, or that they're struggling to recruit in. So whether you're thinking about your next promotion opportunity, whether you want to change company or change sector and want to give yourself the edge, skills and digital transformation will absolutely do that for you. Through the funding as well, we've been lucky enough to be able to pass on a discount of €1,250 per level 9 post professional diploma. So we've passed that saving directly on to our students. So to give you an idea of some of the companies that we have worked with on the co-design and co-delivery of these, everything from manufacturing, medical devices, fintech, public bodies, so the Irish Blood Transfusion Group and pharma. So a wide range of companies, and each of the programs is the co-design is with people who are hiring in the area of the professional diploma. So they, you know, we realize these are often short, sharp pieces of learning. They're 1 year that we want to give people the specific skill set to help them advance in their career. And as I said, it's not just for the ICT graduates, it's for a very broad range of skills. And I can go through now some of the programs that we have developed in this space. And it's worth saying that each of the programs here has a module from the Kemmy Business School to help prepare our students to be more future thinking, to be more proactive, to design the future they want, not just to be reactive, both for themselves and their own career and their organisation. So we have programs in strategic leadership, in the age of digital transformation, digital futures and innovation. Now, this is a really new program. It's very innovative. It's really at the cutting edge. It's about shaping future markets, not just reacting to them. So really thinking, really changing traditional strategic thinking on its head. So for example, Boeing changed from selling engines to leasing engines. That's completely changed the market. So how do you instill that type of thinking in your own organisation? We have a programme in Work Futures. So if you're a HR professional, how do you keep humans at the centre of the workplace in the area of cobots and artificial intelligence and machine learning? Data analytics, how do you use data to make effective decisions at management? How do you present information? How do you visualize data? How do you manage teams of software developers in an agile environment? And how do you make ethical decision making? So all of these programs are in areas of great demand with industry. And then maybe the more obvious ones when you think of digital transformation. So we have people who have worked at a very senior level, for example, in Vallejo, who've designed a program in artificial intelligence for computer vision. If you're working in manufacturing, artificial intelligence, Industry 4 is going to transform the way we all work, and we have a suite of programs to help prepare you for that. We also have a program in the area of law and technology. So how do law professionals prepare for technology, and how indeed do engineers get their head around all of the different aspects of law, both at a national and European level. We have a program on climate adaptation and sustainability. And again, that Digital Futures and Innovation Summer School will impact the way we want to build a more sustainable world. So UL brings together the world of education, the world of industry, and the world of technology. All of our programs are designed to be delivered online, and we have engaged with the top international experts to design programs that are online, that can fit in with very busy schedules, work-life balance, young lads and young ones going to hurling and camogie. You know, we've designed all of our programs that they will fit around your life. So if we go on to the next slide. Each of the programs I mentioned there also have a micro-credential. And we've spoken a lot about micro-credentials, and people will do them for different reasons. But if it's been 5, 10, 15, 20 years since you engaged with education, and you're not sure you want to commit to a 1-year program or a 2-year program, a micro-credential is a lovely way to test put your toe in the water and see, is going back to education something you want to do. Also, if you're going into an area that, oh God, I don't know data analytics, I think I might like it, sure, I'll do a micro-credential in it, and then you might come back the next year and do a full program in it. As Michael said, we also are thinking about digital apprenticeships. So in a direct response to recent attacks on the HSE, cybersecurity attacks, and the war in Ukraine, Michael and his team have designed a cybersecurity apprenticeship with industry. So that's earning while you learn. Excuse me. We also have all of our professional diplomas can be stacked. If you combine 3 professional diplomas over a 5-year period, you can build your master's in that slow way to work around your own work-life balance, but also to design a bespoke route for you and your career. Perhaps not particularly relevant for this audience, but we're also looking at transforming the way we do undergraduate education, and we are developing new degrees in the area of Industry 4 and mechatronics that'll provide our undergraduates coming out of school with skills that prepare them for success in the workplace. So like Yvonne and Michael, we're also doing a series of drop-in sessions during the month of May and June if you want to find out more about any of the programs, if it's right for you, and if not, is there another program that works better for you. So I'd encourage anyone to register for any of those events, and there's no stupid questions. Come with any question you want and we'll do our best to find it for you, about funding, about the commitment required, any of that. So please come along and ask us the questions. You'd have heard a lot today from Helen and Michael and Yvonne about micro-credentials, and a sister project to UL at Work is a project called Microcreds, and this is a national project that UL is a part of to increase the level of people engaging with micro-credentials for whatever reason, whether people just want to get a taste of something, whether people want to start slowly and stack towards an award in a slow period of time. So This is a national project. It's led by the Irish Universities Association. A micro-credential is a short, sharp piece of learning, and in UL, that is anything from a 6-credit module to a 12-credit module. All of the credits are accredited and assessed. And that accreditation and assessment means that you can stack it towards a further award. So for example, if you do a micro-credential in the Introduction to Data Analytics in OR, you can stack that towards the Professional Diploma in Data Analytics. And all of the micro-credentials UL are working with, again, are in key skills, in areas of key of demand of skills. So they're grouped in everything from business and management, and there's no place, I would say, in Ireland that has someone like Yvonne Delaney that knows exactly what business and management skills are in demand in areas. And just, I suppose, on a more general basis, I'm not a UL graduate, and one of the things that struck me when I joined UL was something that Michael said, that all of the faculties work better together here than in any other university in Ireland, in my experience. So the world of work is not just global now, it's inter and transdisciplinary. And these types of micro-credentials will set you up for success in developing those transdisciplinary programs, whether it be in lean or data analytics and AI, or if you're in the health sector, the aviation sector, or you want to upskill in the area of law. So as I said, all of these are accredited and assessed, and that accreditation and assessment means that you can stack them towards further awards. So if you'd like to find out more about micro-credentials and how it works for your own career, please register for any of the drop-in sessions. And just to my colleague, Dr. Sarah Brady, is leading that project, and she'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. And I'm going to hand back now to Helen, who's going to talk about the important thing, the money. How is this all going to get funded and who's going to pay for it?
Thanks, Sinead. I suppose when you're looking at, undertaking a programme, one of the key things really is funding and how you're going to progress your career. COVID has had huge implications for individuals. So, we're very cognizant here in UL that we look to particular funding pots that are available for people to upskill. We work very closely with government bodies to access funding for programmes. I'll go through some of the funding pots that are available at the moment for professional learners. Now, as Sinead highlighted there, the UL at Work initiative was funded through the Human Capital Initiative, which is the HCI. It's one of the newer funding initiatives, and it provides funds through the National Training Fund. And as Sinead outlined already, it heavily subsidises particular programmes, particularly on the digital side of things. Also, when we're looking at professional learners, Skillnet is another really important source of funding. These are industry-led networks that partially fund fees for member companies. Now, they're generally sector-specific. If you're part of a medical devices company, you might be affiliated to the medical devices Skillnet, but you can access and leverage support from other Skillnets. You don't have to stick to the particular sector you're part of. So we work, myself, Yvonne, Michael, and everybody in the GPS team work very, very closely with Skillnets to access funds for our students in particular programmes and in particular sectors. Michael also spoke about apprenticeships. Now, apprenticeships, again, are a great way to fund your education. They're an effective way for professionals to upskill in a very cost-effective manner. And we currently have 7 apprenticeships running at the moment in UL, and these are very heavily subsidised. And this really makes them very attractive for students, but also really attractive for your company to look at taking, putting you on the apprenticeship route. Now, I suppose you're all aware of one of the biggest pots of funding that has been out for the last couple of years, and that's Springboard Plus. It's probably the most well known, and it's one that we, myself, Michael and Yvonne, are really passionate about, because we feel that this has been a great way of upskilling professional students in the last couple of years. So just a quick whistle stop, I suppose, guide around Springboard is that all level 6 programs, no matter what your credentials are, whether you're working or a non-worker, are free. So if you want to take any level 6 program, it's free. Level 7 to level 9 are 90% funded if you're 90% funded if you are a professional student, and they're 100% funded if you're a returner or a job seeker. And by returner, what we mean is that you've stepped out of the workforce for a period of time to either take care of kids or to look after elderly parents, but that you're not in receipt of a Department of Social Protection payment. Now, where we see Springboard has been hugely influential is in the training budgets of smaller companies. It has allowed, smaller companies to avail of pots of funding that they wouldn't have necessarily been able to avail of. But it also is critical in allowing students who are self-funding to avail of quality programs at hugely reduced fees, because you're looking at a professional diploma that's possibly €5,000 as a fee-paying student, and you're getting this program for €500. We have currently put in an application for funding. We haven't found out the result of it as of yet, but we are due to hear quite soon. So there's an idea of what we've put in for through the Kemmy Business School, Science and Engineering and Health and Humanities. We've put in 28 programs. Anything that is funded this year will be funded for 3 years. It's a new, I suppose, rule within Springboard. So we're fingers crossed that we will get, the majority of these programs funded. I'll just quickly go through. I just mentioned what we have applied for. So on the management development side of things, and on the business side of things, we have applied for programs in the areas of HR, management, aviation, public procurement, and supply chain and global trade compliance. In the areas of science and engineering, we are focused on continuous improvement programs in the areas of Lean and Six Sigma, regulatory affairs and health and safety. And we have put in applications for programs in design, aviation, again on the airworthiness side of things, supply chain, and again, as we mentioned earlier, transversal skills, which will be very important to us going forward to adapt to change in our changing environment. And we have applied for 4 programs through the health sciences side of the house, and they are in posture seating and wheelchair mobility, advanced clinical practice, and 2 very new programs, very interesting ones in intercultural communication skills, which I think will be very important for us going forward, and equality, governance and fairness in the workplace. Now, again, as I said, we're still waiting on the outcome, but you can browse and through all of these programs that we have submitted and register your interest on our website that we'll put into the chat. So, like the rest of my partners in crime here, we are going to be holding some drop-in sessions, and I would encourage you at any stage to drop in, have a chat with us, talk about Springboard, talk about your eligibility. But if you don't have to limit it to that, if you feel you want to ask a question, as Sinead said already, no question is a silly question. We're here to help you. We want you to succeed. We want you to progress. We want you to be the best of yourself. So we would really encourage you to drop into any of these sessions so that we can have a chat with you and we can guide you to the best potential course that you're looking for. So there's some of the dates, and please feel free to register. We'd be only delighted to have a chat with you. So as I mentioned earlier, we will be sending this presentation to everybody that registered. And again, you feel free to engage with us at any stage. But I'm going to just go through some of the questions in the chat if there are some, and we can hopefully be able to answer some of the queries that are after coming through there. I'm not seeing any questions there at the moment. Let me just double check. So, so one of the questions that has come up is, and maybe Michael, I might address this to you if that's okay, is I'm returning to education. What time commitment do I need to give to a program?
Okay, I won't be smart and say how long is a piece of string, but it is a major commitment. You're getting an award from the university, but that's why we have looked at micro-credentials, as in one module, or doing a short program or something that takes a year or 2 years. But generally, if you're looking, if you can, you're probably going to want to look for around 10 hours a week, okay, to do your study. It might be a bit more, it might be a bit less, depending on what you're studying. Okay, now remember that we have two 15-week semesters, so it's not a 52-week year we're talking about. It's 30 weeks. It's you've 2 sprints and you're done. And the wonderful thing about the system in UL is we have no end of year finals. It's semesterized, so you get through one set of the modules and you're done with them. But definitely look at on average around 10 hours a week would be a reasonable expectation, but you'd find out more from each course director about their own program. Yvonne,
Thanks.
anything? Sorry.
Yeah, no, Michael, I think you've covered that comprehensively. And as well as that, it depends from individual to individual. Like I might be studying a program, and I might have to put in quite a lot of hours because it's something new in my area. Michael might be studying the same program, but he may have experience from a commercial point of view, and the time he has to spend reading up might be much shorter. And I think you are right, Michael. I mean, how long is a piece of string? It actually depends. But the most important thing that we would stress is we have the scaffolding and the supports in the university to help you through that journey. Not just alone in what we will put up on the virtual learning environment, which is called Moodle, on the program information page, but also the supports that will be there from people like myself, Helen, Sinead, and also the lecturers and also the program administrators. So we will be there to help you through that journey, especially if you get unstuck. Okay, thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Yvonne. And now another question that has just come through here as well is about Springboard, and when will Springboard, when will we know what courses are funded through Springboard? The answer, I'll take that if you don't mind, guys. Look, we're waiting patiently to hear from the HEA, but I would encourage anybody that's interested in Springboard, and anybody that's studying professionally needs to know about Springboard and needs to know what's been offered. So I would encourage you all to go on our website, onto our Springboard page, and express interest in a program. And as soon as Springboard is announced and we know what programs are funded, you will be the first to know. So I just you know, encourage you to engage with our website and with ourselves, and we will let you know as soon as possible as Springboard is announced. So I have another question here. Okay, so this is from somebody. I have a level 8 BA Politics and Public Administration degree from UL. Would it be possible for me to do a higher diploma or even a master's in a science-engineering-IT course that UL provides? Thanks in advance. Michael, I might put that over to you as you're the expert on the science and engineering side of the side of things.
Yep, every course has entry requirements. And as we have been saying, we won't put you on a course you won't be able to complete. So, you know, we have a master's in artificial intelligence. You're not going to get on that with a BA in politics, but you will probably be interested in the higher diploma in software development, which is a program that is designed to upskill people from a non-computing background to a computing background. So it depends on the program that you're interested in, you know, or our masters in supply chain management or our masters in lean systems. They are science and engineering and interfaculty programs, and a BA in public admin would qualify you for entry onto one of those. So it depends on the program you're interested in. So possibly visit a few of the sessions in May and have a look at the prospectus on the GPS website. Okay, hope that helps.
Thanks, Michael. That's great. If you take 3 professional diplomas to build the masters, what would the title of the masters be? Sinead, I might just pop that over to you, seeing as you've been doing the lion's share of work on this particular master's programme.
So I'm going to do the terms and conditions apply line first. So this combination, the stacking of professional diplomas to a master's is currently undergoing the approvals through the university at the moment. So this master's does not exist as of now, but it is on the books and it will be approved. But the title of it will be a Master's of Professional Practice. So this allows us to have that interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary. So it's the equivalent of an MA or an MEng or an MSc, or but it is a Masters of Professional Practice. Terms and conditions.
And it has the same standing as if, you know, say if you were going forward to do a PhD, it has the same standing as the MEng, as Sinead was just outlining there. It's just a different route. It's just a slightly different route, a more, I suppose, a more modern approach to building your own masters.
Thanks, Yvonne. Thanks, Sinead. We've another question here. So is Springboard Plus programme funding available for an international student? Sahil, unfortunately, it's not. It's available to Irish students and to EU students once they're domiciled in Ireland. They're actually, I'm wrong, actually, they're saying it can be open to an international student, but depending on how long you have been living here. So if you're a professional student and you've been living 3 of the previous 5 years in Ireland, it is available to you. But we can chat offline if you want to email me about your circumstances. And it does say here, in the case, part Sahil's same question as well, in the case Springboard funding is not available for international students, can we pay the standard fees and enrol in the programme? Absolutely. We never turn away a fee-paying student. And is there a possibility to register for a similar programme as a full-time student? Now, we've often seen people take the Springboard programmes. They're delivered part-time. They're for professional students, but people who, you know, are unemployed or job seekers, you know, devote their full time to the particular programme. There are other programmes that you can take full time to the HCI Pillar 1, but again, Sahil, I'd have to see what your status is as a resident in Ireland before we could make that call. I don't know, do the rest of or my colleagues want to interject there? Is there anything you want to add?
No, Helen, I think you've outlined there, you know, the different funding that is available, whether it's Springboard. Skillsnet might be an option if Sahil was working full time and wasn't working in the public sector. If he was working in the private sector, but in that case, rather than being an application, an individual application, the application goes through your company, and you would liaise directly with the Skillsnet in your region. I mean, we deal with a wide range of Skillsnets here, and they're a great source of support, and especially for the SMEs, you know, very, very good support.
Sahil, I might just suggest that you email us offline and we can just have a chat about you know, your status and maybe look at particular routes for you. It might be something that we just can take offline for if that's okay with you. I'll just check, is there any other in there? Another question has been, is there exams or continuous improvement as part of the programs?
Do you want me to take that, Helen?
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent,
Okay.
Yvonne. Yeah, thank you.
Traditionally, the bulk of the method of assessment is through what's called tutor marked assignments. We call them TMAs. It doesn't preclude total exclusion of exams, but the bulk of your work, even if you do have an exam, would be probably done through assignment, and there may be 20–30% for an exam, but it would be fair to say that across all the programs it is normally done through assessment. Now, why do we do this? We do this basically because we're trying to ensure that you're able to bring the day job into the university. You bring your commercial, practical experience and write it in your assignments, rather than sitting down and regurgitating everything you have in 4 or 5 examination papers. We find that through reviewing your day job, reviewing what's involved, setting assessments or setting assignments that reflect what you do in the day job and writing it helps you not just to think through you know, your job in a different light. It also helps you to reflect on what you're doing in the day job. So to answer your question, the bulk of the assessment process is through assignment, but it does not preclude totally you doing some examinations. Michael might like to comment on that as well.
Yeah, like the aim of professional education, as we were saying, is to develop your employability. None of us work in isolation. If there's a problem to be solved, we all solve it together. So what we want you to be able to do is gather information and make decisions and come up with an answer, rather than rote learn material that won't serve you or make a program very enjoyable. So continuous assessment is a key feature. There are some modules that have, we'll say, timed assessments, in the sense of you get a paper and you have 6 hours to return the answer, or you might have 4 days, depending. But you know what I mean, this will all be explained to you. So we're going away from bringing people into a room and terrorizing them with an unseen paper for 2.5 hours. To continuous assessment, where you can build your skills and show your learning. So that's.
But we may introduce that climbing wall, Michael.
We might introduce the climbing wall if you want an A1. Yes.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Yvonne. Now they're coming in. I'll just okay. Sorry, no, guys. Okay, I have. If I take a certificate or diploma, does that count towards a master's? Yvonne, I might ask you to answer that, if that's okay.
Okay, the pathway. If you have a certificate and you match that with the diploma, your next route from a business perspective in the Kemmy Business School would be to a degree, which would be a one-year program called the BA in Management Practice. So your pathway was, you have a cert, you have a diploma, your next route is a BA in Management Practice, and that is a level 8 honours degree. Your next step after that is, of course, to the Masters. There are a number of pathways to the Masters, but the one we're suggesting, which Sinead very succinctly outlined, that is the Masters in 3. So you would have 3 professional diplomas where you would add 2 professional diplomas, and then when you go to do the third one, you actually sign up to being a Master's. So there's just one missing block in your question, and that is the BA in Management Practice from a business perspective. That's the stepping stone to bring you into the Master's. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks very much, Yvonne, that's great. Another question here. It's a while since I've studied and I'm worried I won't be able to get up to speed. Are there supports in place to help me get started? Well, I might just take that. I did my Masters when dinosaurs roamed the land. It's so long ago. But I decided to go back and do 2 micro-credentials at the end of last year. First of all, because I was really interested in the subjects, but second of all, I thought it was a little bit hypocritical, me telling people to upskill when I wasn't upskilling myself. But I went back, and I have to say, and they were through Yvonne's Management Development Unit, there was so much resources there for an adult learner. At every turn, either online or you could pick up the phone if you had an issue, but we had a full induction and orientation. We got to read about academic writing, we got to submit test cases to our lecturers to make sure we were on the right note, and I think that was one of the things that came out. I you know, and looked for a bit of feedback just on a discussion session, how students found it, and by far they thought it was one of the best supported programs that they had ever done while studying as a professional learner. So I would have no worries who has ever asked that question, but what I would say is it is going to be challenging at the start, but nothing worth doing isn't challenging, and you just have to get into the swing of maybe putting Netflix aside for a couple of hours to finish your assignments, or to read up on particular papers or whatever. But it's very enjoyable, and it's amazing how quick you get back into the whole routine of studying again, and at least it gives you an excuse to get away from cooking and washing up for a couple of hours a night. So I'll just check, is there some more questions there? I think Michael answered that one. One for you, Yvonne. I've completed the cert in management. Can I take microcreds towards the diploma?
Thank you, Helen. Yes, the answer is absolutely yes. So you have completed your certificate in management. Your next option is the diploma in management. Within the diploma in management, both in the first semester and in the second semester, there are micro-credentials on offer commencing this September. All you have to do is identify which micro-credential you want to take it, and it's like a bankable credit. So if you would like to contact us, we can go through which micro-credential we would suggest for you. Please, our details are in this presentation, and the answer simply is absolutely. You can build your own diploma. And for people that are working full-time, holding down full-time jobs, doing picking and dropping and ballet and hockey and soccer, we totally understand that the micro-credential route may well be the way to dip the toe in the water. So thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Yvonne. I might give you this one, Michael. You mentioned it being possible to do. Oh, sorry, Michael. You've eventually answered it there in the chat. Apologies. I'm just seeing, Michael. You're very efficient today answering online. Do I see? I don't see a full. Oh, okay. Okay, this one, I have a Polish diploma of completion of medical vocational study. According to NARIC, it is supposed to be the equivalent to a level 6 education in Ireland, but I'm not sure if I got that right. What do foreign nationals with my qualification do to be able to progress to a level 8 or 9 education in Ireland?
Do you want me to answer that, Helen?
Please, Yvonne.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We've come across quite a number of students that have come from a lot of the European countries, a lot of Southeast Asian countries, and say take for example with your level 6, what happens is you put in your credentials. When you're applying, you put in your credentials, and through GPS they can check most of the international qualifications. So just take, for example, I'm not saying this is the case, but just take, for example, that your qualification equates to a level 6 in our national framework. Well, your next route is into the diploma, which is level 7. But first of all, your credentials would have to be verified and they would have to be authenticated. And then you would be able to move into the diploma in management, say in the University of Limerick. But any level 7 qualification, once your original qualifications have been verified, and they can be verified through the application process because GPS have access to an international database. I hope that answers the question, Helen.
Thanks, Yvonne. That's great. Thank you. I have a question here. Michael, it might, as soon as it comes in under health and safety, I have a level 6 in biopharmaceuticals and GMP, level 7 in veterinary nursing, level 8 in applied bioscience, and a master's in agri-bioscience. Currently working in the health and safety and looking to get a degree in this. Would the master's suit me best? Couldn't see an honours degree in the health and safety, needs to be part-time and preferably offline. Thanks in advance.
Okay, at present we don't have an undergraduate program in health and safety. We used to have a night class, which a lot of people had done, but what we do have is a professional diploma at master's level in health and safety that might be of interest. So if you want to drop a line, we can have an offline discussion around that.
Michael, just would the masters in engineering practice, could she do the thesis maybe on the health and safety side of things?
Definitely.
Would that be something?
The 3-part masters in the way that you could look at something like a professional diploma in law and technology, a professional diploma in health and safety, and then do a thesis element in health and safety practice. And earn a master's that way.
Thanks, Michael.
Yep.
I suppose what's great about these Q&A sessions is because, you know, there's so many pathways we have in UL, you know, we're always able to find, you know, something that will appeal to you or something that may be a pathway for you going forward. I'm just double checking, is there any more? I'm not sure. I'll go in. I think we've answered most of them. Yvonne, hello. Yes. I completed a diploma in management some years ago. How long is it possible to avail of credits?
My advice to you is contact me, yvonne.delaney@ul.ie, and I'll go through your diploma. Right now, we have not put a limit on how far back we can go. So you probably are still eligible to move on to the BA in management practice. but I'd like to talk to you first. And it's so Yvonne, YVONNE.Delaney@ul.ie. And it'll be, my email is on this, and I'd like to talk to you on a one-to-one basis offline. But I would see you as being okay for the BA.
And Yvonne, again, this one is probably for you as well, and maybe another offline
Yes.
email. It's can I do the diploma in management course without doing the certificate?
I need to talk to you. When that's the situation, we tend to do it on a case-by-case basis. But our strong advice is, especially if you're a return to education learner, our strong advice is, you know, best off to get started either with a micro-credential or get started with the cert before going straight into the diploma, because the diploma is the equivalent of an ordinary pass degree, even though it's called a diploma, it's a level 7, but it's an ordinary pass degree, and it has its challenges. But like what Michael and I and Sinead spoke about earlier on, and Helen, it's not so much you starting the program, we want to see you finishing it. We want to see you successful and also gaining the skill set that you signed up for. Okay, so please contact me and I'll help you.
Thanks, Yvonne. This may be for Sinead or Michael, whoever wants. Do you have an industrial PhD? I'm presuming this
professional doctorate, I suppose, is it, Michael?
Yeah, would probably be.
Is a PhD for people who are in industry. Yep. So you'll get more information on the GPS website, and I quite happily talk to anyone about the whole process and how it works. It takes 4 years normally, and yeah, there is a route there for you to bring the expertise that you have built up in industry into academia, which is something that we always want. There's have to have a two-way exchange of information. So yeah, michael.hennessy@ul.ie.
And speaking about this, I know Michael's the expert on this one, but I can assure you, I have looked through the documentation, and in terms of doing a professional doctorate, it is one of the best programs that I have seen, because first of all, it gives you a structure. Doing a PhD can be a very, very lonely journey, and this PhD and the structure and how Michael and his team have designed it is second to none. It helps you in the early stages in terms of literature reviews, doing, methods, the qualitative, quantitative methods, but more importantly, it links to the day job, and it helps you to write your PhD from something you're doing every day. So I know Michael is a bit modest about this, but I can tell you it's the best, one of the best programs at a professional doctorate level that I've seen. So well done.
Thank you, Yvonne.
People have been asking, the session is recorded, and we will be sending it out to whoever registered, and we may put it up on our website as well so people can access it, but we will in the first instance be sending it to everybody who's registered. There's another one here. When will the higher diploma in software development application be open? Emran, I presume you're talking about the higher diploma through Springboard. As soon as we know what we've been funded, we'll be opening up the programs for application through the Springboard site and also through our own site. I'm not seeing any new questions in there, but I'm sure if there's anybody that has questions after the session, we're more than happy for you to reach out to any of us, and we can, we can guide you towards the correct person to talk to and the correct program. So with no new questions, I think we may decide to finish up today. And again, there's plenty of drop-in sessions. We are more than happy to chat with you at any stage. and please feel free to reach out to any one of us and we'll be more than happy to address any of your queries.
Thanks,
so
Helen.
thank you so much, everybody, and thanks all the crew that came along today to make this event happen.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Thanks
Bye.
all.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye to everybody.